right now.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on GMSA at 9. And we have a lot to talk about today. However, first, a big shakeup in the ice cream world.
Wait a minute. All right. This is true. We've all known, I think, or tried Ben & Jerry's, but could it soon be just Ben's? That is the question.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Co-founder Jerry Greenfield has quit the ice cream brand after 47 years due to a disagreement with Unilever, who the pair sold their company to 25 years ago.
So part of that deal was that they would keep the autonomy to pursue their values and continue speaking out in support of peace, justice, and human rights. However, Greenfield says that started to change recently.
So last week, he and Cohen asked Unilever to spin off their former company so it could operate independently. Unilever said nope and denies it is silencing the co-founders. And so it appears the end of an ice cream era.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be Ben's.
Yeah.
Do you see him being creative in like Ben & Jerry's? Like,
well, I don't know. Maybe I'll find another Jerry. I don't know. I don't know what do you do? I don't know. But
right?
Justin will appreciate this as we look at live cam here. I had so many pints of Ben & Jerry's when I was a student at A&M. At Walton Hall. Would walk across the street and have a sleeve of Pringles and a pint of Ben & Jerry's. Back when I didn't care about.
Right. You know. Dinner champions there.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly.
The interesting flavors that you see, like
the names and everything.
Yeah, like was it
Cherry Garcia was? I remember the late.
Yes, that's when I was there. Moose something or other.
Yeah.
Tracks.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's one like delicious brownie one. I'll have to look up.
Oh, there's many.
There's so many. Yeah, there's so many.
Anyway, let's go outside for you. 75 degrees at the airport, 75 in New Braunfels, 77 in Converse, 66 in Bertie. Things are starting to warm up after what was a pretty nice morning. We had temperatures in the 60s in a lot of spots. Forecast for today: 80 at 10 a.m., noontime 86, 90 at 2 p.m. And we'll eventually top out somewhere around 93 or so. Partly cloudy today, much like the last several days. We're going to keep it status quo, but we are going to start to see some changes as we get into next week. Encouraging changes. I think we'll see some showers and maybe a few downpours Monday into Tuesday. I'll show you why. We'll look at the extended forecast, and we'll talk about how long those rain chances may last as well, coming up in just a couple minutes.
Thank you, Justin. Let's look out there with TransGuide. Earlier wasn't too bad. Looking over here at 151, things are moving. Also at I-10 at UTSA Boulevard. You can't see that on your screen. Actually, it's moving. We know. We can tell you, even though it says no video stream, it is moving over there by the Alamo Dome. So that is good news for being downtown. Well, fentanyl poisoning and opioid overdoses are a growing problem, and researchers with UT San Antonio Health say that is a leading cause of death for adults between the ages of 18 and 45.
Yeah, so now there is state and federal funding to make sure that naloxone or Narcan is on every college campus in Texas. Our Devin Karp shows us how the medicine can save lives.
If you've never heard of Narcan, this is what it looks like in the box, and this is what the actual dose of the medicine looks like. And although it's small, this can do so much good for saving someone's life. Now Naloxone Texas wants to make sure that it's on every college campus within the state, because they say this issue is getting too big to ignore, especially for college-age students. All of this coming from researchers within Naloxone Texas, taking funding from federal and state sources, part of the Be Well Institute at UT San Antonio Health. They say progress has been made getting Narcan like this into bars and music venues and a lot of other places where adults might run into some of the dangerous drugs with opioids. But now they want to make sure college students have the same access, because research shows the problem isn't going away.
You know, they're on campus, they're together with their friends, they're having parties, they're going out to the bars and restaurants and things like that. And so to us, it's just another tool to have in your toolkit. It's another thing to put in a first aid kit, for example.
Naloxone Texas is already working with campuses in the UT system to get it to students, but they're also working with local outreach organizations throughout the state to get it in more public and private universities here in Texas. If you need a list of naloxone resources or anything with fentanyl, we've got it up on our website at KSAT.com. But in case you don't know how it works, I'm going to run you through it real quick. this is what the actual medicine looks like. If you find someone who's in an overdose situation, you take the box, open it up. That's when you'll find the medicine. In order to administer it correctly, if you find someone who's in an overdose situation, you will lean their head back, take this end right here, place it into their nostril, and push. That's when you can release the medicine inside. After that, researchers recommend that you call 911, and then if that patient is still not doing well, you can administer the second dose within the box. The small amount of medicine can still do a lot to save lives within the state of Texas. Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Well, last night marked the first board meeting with Edgewood ISD since the arrest of Maribel Gardea. Now, Gardea held a rally across the street before the meeting to gather parents, and she says she still can't set foot on school property, even though the district attorney's office decided not to press charges.
So during last night's meeting, the superintendent spoke about parent concerns, including bullying, board policies, and education support programs, and he says he's working on a solution.
I choose to look at that moment in time, examine it, learn from it, and move forward with the parents that are looking to work together.
Well, the superintendent says that he'll have more meetings with parents in the coming weeks. He is also planning to create a parent advisory committee in the district very soon.
A Texas State student has been expelled after video circulating online showed him mocking the death of Charlie Kirk. Texas State University says it has identified the student but is not releasing any additional information on his conduct.
Well, this comes after Governor Greg Abbott shared a video on X showing the student mocking Kirk's death, saying, quote, "The conduct is not accepted at our schools. Expel this student immediately. Mocking assassinations must have consequences," end quote.
The university president released this statement saying in part, quote, "Behavior that trivializes or promotes violence is reprehensible and violates the values of Texas State. It will not be tolerated," end quote.
Well, here's today's 9 at 9. Authorities in Utah are looking at more than 20 people linked to accused killer of Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson, on the chat app Discord. So Robinson faces 7 charges, including aggravated murder. Prosecutors say that he texted his roommate about his anger before the attack. His parents helped convince him to turn himself in after his mother recognized him in the photos.
A proposed deal that would have ended U.S. tariffs on British steel has been put on hold. According to UK media, the current U.S. tariff on British steel imports is 25%. Before leaving for his state visit to Britain on Tuesday, President Trump said that he was into helping London to refine and finalize its trade deal with Washington, which included the agreement on steel.
Well, analysts expect that the Fed to cut interest rates today for the first time since last December. Most predict at least a quarter-point drop. When the Fed lowers rates, it usually makes borrowing money cheaper.
Credit scores are falling at the fastest pace since the Great Depression, the Great Recession. The national average FICO score dropped by 2 points this year, which is the most since 2009. U.S. stocks are hitting record highs, while a significant chunk of Americans say they are hurting.
Well, Americans continued spending in August despite persistent fears about the economy, a slowing labor market, and higher tariffs. Spending at U.S. retailers rose 0.6% last month, unchanged from July's upwardly revised figure.
Sprout Organics is recalling one lot of its baby food pouches because they could be contaminated with elevated levels of lead. The recall affects 3.5-ounce pouches of Sprout Organics sweet potato, apple, and spinach. The product was sold mainly at Walgreens and some independent stores across the South.
Well, Costco is warning its members about Prosecco sold in a dozen Midwestern states. So if you bought Kirkland Signature Prosecco between the end of April and the end of August, Costco says some of the unopened bottles could shatter without warning. So the recalled bottles have that item number 1879870.
Rapper Bad Bunny's final show in Puerto Rico will be live streamed. The artist's residency began there in July, likely generating hundreds of millions of dollars in tourist revenue for Puerto Rico. The Grammy winner's final show will be live streamed on September 20th on Amazon Prime, Twitch, and the Amazon Music app.
So Coachella has announced its headliners for next year. Some of the names: Justin Bieber, Sabrina Carpenter, and Colombian singer Karol G. So the artists have all played Coachella in the past. The music festival is set for the weekends of April 10th through 12th and April 17th to 19th. The passes go on sale this Friday, and that's today's 9 at 9.
Okay, 9:07 now. We move on to KSAT Community, and Project Mend is stepping up to help people who need medical mobility equipment, and you can actually be a part of that.
Yes, and Dexter Moon, the Chief Operating Officer of Project Mend, is here to tell us about the events coming up very soon. In fact, tomorrow as well.
Yes. Tomorrow we have our phone bank here partnering with our KSAT family, and we're excited about that. If anybody would like to participate, please, by all means, give us a call, and you can be part of helping us do our mission here in San Antonio.
So give us an idea. Tell us about Project Mend, and what is it ultimately that you are looking for from people who might see this?
Yes, Project Mend, we've been in the city for 32 years. We have a really simple mission, and that is to remove barriers to access to mobility equipment. And we do that through taking in donations of durable medical equipment, refurbishing it, sanitizing it, and then reissuing it for free. We're licensed by the state of Texas to do that, the only licensed medical reuse company in the state of Texas to do that. And so we're looking to partner with the community this weekend at our drive, our donation drive across the city, because we're only as good as the donations that we get. And so the community can help us by donating used medical equipment that they have at their homes.
And remind people at home just how important this is. I mean, medical equipment like wheelchairs, walkers, that could be very expensive.
Yes, it can be very expensive, especially if insurance can't cover it or something like that. So we are able to take in the equipment, refurbish it like I mentioned, and then give it out for free regardless of the situation, where we don't take insurance, we don't charge for the equipment. All we ask is that people show up with a medical prescription from a doctor or a medical provider so that we can make sure that they're getting the right piece of equipment.
All right, so what would a typical wheelchair like what we see on the screen there, or a walker, I mean, what kind of cost are we talking about?
Oh, anywhere from $180 to $350 for just a standard wheelchair, and if they get specialized, they can get all the way up to $500-600 a wheelchair.
Yeah, so it certainly adds up. We're seeing some of the video. I think this is one of probably the collection drives that you guys have, and we talked about two locations, the Wonderland of the Americas Mall and the Shriners Auditorium there on 1604, but you mentioned there's a third location on the northeast side as well.
Yes, Colonial Funeral Home this weekend has partnered with us, and they're also going to be collecting equipment on the northeast side. We want it to spread out this year. This is our first year of having multiple locations.
Oh, good.
And that way we can be able to service the community and have more locations for the community to get to us.
And if people maybe don't have something to donate, they can also donate monetary donations as well as accepted, and we'll help you guys out.
Yes, every dollar helps a nonprofit like Project Mend. So yes, ma'am, definitely they can help us out that way as well.
Okay, and certainly if you're in need of this kind of equipment, you can find Project Mend online or on their social media platforms and get in touch with Dexter and his team, and they can hopefully make that happen for you. But again, the collection drive right there happening on the 20th, the phone bank tomorrow. And we'll do our best to generate some love for you guys here in the coming days.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good.
All right, thanks Dexter for joining us this morning. All right, well, happening today and for the next 2 days, donations you make to your favorite area nonprofit could be matched and doubled. It could be an animal rescue, a museum, a community center, or a church.
Now, there are more than 420 nonprofits to be part of the Big Give. It's something that's been happening for 12 years, and each year their reach grows, and so does the need. This year, there are more than 15 counties. The goal of the Big Give is to rally support for these nonprofits in 2 days and bring in as much money as possible. Last year, they broke a record, raising more than $6 million.
So we wanted to show you how the donations trickle down to impact real people in our communities. And we caught up with Ashley Andrade, who has a family of 8 and uses services from the nonprofit Good Samaritan Childcare. So she says she is grateful for the donations that come in to make these services possible.
Just thank you for all that you do. You know, if it weren't for people like them, we wouldn't be able to have all the services that we do, that they're able to provide for us. So it is a blessing that, you know, people from that can't get, you know, people that can't really afford, let's say, like childcare, which I always tell them, like, it's free, just try it. I always recommend this program. It's just a big help, you know, for some parents that are struggling, you know, to make ends meet. It's like a free center. Just find even a part-time job and it'll help you out. What else toys you like to play with?
Well, Good Samaritan is hoping to raise $8,000 during the 24-hour online give drive. So Big Give organizers say in a time when federal funding has been cut, the money will make a huge difference for families.
Okay, 9:12 right now. It is 75 degrees outside, still ahead on GMSA at 9.
The student loan backlog is still massive. So just ahead, the latest numbers and what it means for borrowers waiting for relief.
And if you get money from the federal government, you've got just weeks to switch to digital payments. How to make sure that you don't miss out on that money coming up.
Well, welcome back. It's 9:16, and if you receive money from the federal government, you've only got a couple of weeks left to make sure you can get it digitally. So the Treasury Department plans to stop issuing paper checks for most payment on September 30th. That includes to Social Security beneficiaries.
More than 500,000 Social Security recipients, or less than 1%, need to choose another way to receive their Social Security benefits. That can be either direct deposit or through a prepaid debit card known as Direct Express.
Well, the U.S. Department of Education is out with an update on backlogs for student loan repayment applications. In a court filing this week, the Education Secretary said that 305,000 student loan income-driven repayment plan applications were approved or denied in August, with more than 1 million applications still waiting to be processed.
As for applications for student loan forgiveness, 5,600 were processed last month, with more than 70,000 waiting for a decision. The Education Department's update comes as part of a lawsuit filed earlier this year, accusing the agency of denying borrowers the right to loan forgiveness or affordable plans for repayment.
Well, looking out there with our TransGuide cameras, I guess we have a problem there at Loop 410, Justin?
Yeah, we did get a report of a rollover there at 410 near McCullough, and it was stopping up traffic pretty badly. Looks like they've already got it on a record, though. They're making quick work of this. So if you're in the 410-281 area, this is where you'll have some concerns. But you can see it looks like they have the car that was the issue there on the record. Let's show you the map here, just to give you an idea of where that's at right here. And because of that incident, we are seeing pretty good backup. You can see that it's backed up almost it is past Blanco now. So if you're coming eastbound on 410, be prepared that this is going to take quite a bit of time. And that report came in at McCullough. So it looks like maybe traffic will start to, you know what? I'm going to go back to TransGuide, because I think what we were looking at there was a separate incident, because you look from this point of view and we've got a fire truck there. So I think what we were looking at just now was maybe a separate incident, or they had moved the car further down the road. But either way, this is eastbound 410, and you can see there's a pretty big backup at this point. We'll keep you posted on how all that will play out. But yeah, that's just near the airport. And I'll zoom in one more time where that slowdown is. It extends a ways back. All right, let's get into the forecast now. 86 degrees noontime. We're going to be up around 93 for a high this afternoon. Partly cloudy skies, and the weekend forecast as you plan out your weekend, know that it will be warm. That's one big takeaway. But the other is that we do have some small rain chances that will play into this. 10% Saturday, 20% Sunday. Not big rain chances, and certainly nothing that will have you cancel your outdoor plans, but it is an indication that things are starting to change up a little bit, which we need because it has been very much copy and paste type forecast. As we look at the Futurecast here, this is one of our more reliable models. As we get into Saturday, high pressure in the upper levels moves far enough west where we get some flow out of the north and west. And as we discussed yesterday, that sometimes can bring in a few disturbances and maybe kick up some isolated storms. So that's Saturday and Sunday. That's kind of the generalized pattern. But as we get into next week, we get an area of low pressure that tries to cut off from the main jet stream up to the north, sinks south. Now, I think there is still a lot of questions here as to how this all evolves. A couple things at play. A, models aren't good with these cutoff lows. And B, when we do see cutoff lows, they can kind of have a mind of their own as to which way they move, drift, and develop. So I think that we'll have some decent chances Monday, regardless of how this plays out. But if it does cut off in the jet stream and kind of hang around Texas for a while, we could have some extended rain chances too. That'll just be something to watch. In fact, the precipitation outlook as you look towards the end of September does have some above average precipitation chances. So that's good. We need it. The aquifer is at 630.7 today, which is a low number, not as low as it's been, which we had 623 earlier this year, but way below the average. The last time the aquifer was at 650, which I think is kind of a healthy number, you got to go back to April 2022. So it has been a long time. We've been kind of conditioned to deal with the low aquifer and stage 3 water restrictions for SAWS customers. 75 right now, 75 in New Braunfels, 77 in Converse, 72 Bernie. and 78 right now in Stinson. So temperatures are warming up. And very quickly, I want to touch on the fact that there could be a shower or two again this afternoon, mainly along the coastal plains. I don't expect anything here in San Antonio. So 93 Thursday, 93 Friday. We bring in those small rain chances over the weekend and better odds Monday and Tuesday. We may also see some cooler temperatures to come along with that as we officially go into fall.
Yay! Bravo, bravo.
Yes. A lot of cheers.
Some applause after the 7
Yes.
day. Very good.
No,
Okay.
Impressive.
not what I'm used to. No, I'm kidding. It's great.
Yes, we're
Thank
happy
you, sir.
about it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, 921, 75 degrees outside.
Well, after the break, the man police say is involved in the brazen theft of Beyoncé's unreleased music. What we are now learning about this investigation.
This morning, the man police say is involved in the brazen theft of Beyoncé's unreleased music is now behind bars. Authorities say they nabbed Kelvin Evans by using tracking technology from some of the electronic devices that were allegedly stolen. It happened in Northeast Atlanta on July 8th, less than 48 hours before the 35-time Grammy winner kicked off the Atlanta dates of her wildly successful Cowboy Carter tour. A dancer and choreographer said thieves broke into their rented SUV, stealing numerous items, including designer clothes, laptops, and jump drives containing Queen Bee's set lists and unheard songs.
They have my computers, and it's really, really important information in there.
And although an arrest has been made, those stolen hard drives storing the intellectual property of one of music's biggest stars have not been recovered.
The fact that the hard drives have not been discovered as of yet is not necessarily surprising. Most theft crimes are because the individual wants to sell the items. Was the hard drive encrypted? Could he even access any information off of the hard drive? Those are all questions that have yet to been answered by this investigation.
Well, welcome back. It's 9:30 and happening today, the biggest day of online giving and giving back to the community. Big Give 2025 allows people the chance to donate to local nonprofits.
And joining us this morning in the calm before the storm is Scott McAninch, the CEO of the Nonprofit Council. I was just telling Stephanie, you know this better than anybody. I don't know, Scott, that people realize just even in Bexar County alone, how many nonprofits there are, and that today is probably their biggest day of the calendar year.
It is. There's clearly over 4,000 active nonprofits in our community. And we've got over 430 that are participating in the Giving Day today, which starts at 6.
Starts at 6 o'clock, and a lot of people, looking forward to this, and kind of waiting. I was telling Ernie that I get some emails from some local nonprofits, kind of reminding us a little bit that this is happening, which is a good thing. I appreciate the reminders. But for some people at home who may not have participated before, or haven't heard, or weren't sure what it is, what is the Big Give for those that don't know?
Yeah, thanks for asking, because there are a lot of people that are unfamiliar with the Giving Day, and it's our 12th year, and it is South Texas' largest online giving day. So it all runs through the biggive.org website. We have over 430 nonprofits on there that you can scroll through like y'all were showing. They all have individual pages. You can learn about each and every one of them. You may have your favorites already. You may not. And if you don't, you can use the search bar and type in a cause area that might be important to you, or an area like Comal County, Bandera. There's a myriad of ways to search for nonprofits, and it's easy to give back. And the minimum is $10, and you can give as much as you want online. There's no maximum. And there's a lot of incentives throughout the 24 hours. So look for the prize button at the top of the page, and scroll down and see those match minutes, because we have 16 match minutes to offer the nonprofits this year to match out dollars that the donors give to them.
And Scott, I was going to say it has a bit of a game show feel to me, because I got to spend some time with you last year. You're kind of the host, if you will. There's the leaderboard, there's a tote board, there's a running clock, there's money involved, and that match. There's a little strategy here in terms of making your charity dollar go as far as it can.
Oh, yeah. So who doesn't want to give to a nonprofit and potentially have your donation doubled? And all those rules, the explanations are on the prize page by minute, we're really excited because this year we have a new Match Minute sponsor that came in just about a month ago, and that is Amazon. Amazon is doing a $25,000 Match Minute at 125 tomorrow. That's our largest Match Minute ever. It's unrestricted, so all the nonprofits can participate. And we're excited to see how quickly that goes in that minute.
So again, so you want people to donate all the time, but maybe there's an idea that if you wait until 125 tomorrow afternoon, your $10 becomes $20, et cetera, et cetera.
It could. So, all the Match Minutes are dollar for dollar matches. Most are up to 100. Some are different, but you just need to read. And until that money runs out. So once the 10,000 or that 25,000 runs out in the minute, you could be potentially, get your money doubled. Now, I will say, whether you do or not, you are still making the donation, and the nonprofit can use whatever money that donors give to them. The beauty of the Big Give is, number one, it's a fundraiser. It's unrestricted money. The nonprofits can use it for whatever their needs are immediately. And secondly, it's a day like you all, it's a day to just showcase what the nonprofits do in the community and celebrate them.
Yeah, I think that's a great reminder. Every donation counts, even a $10 donation, because those add up as well.
Yes. And nonprofits what they do is take those donations and they add tenfold to that through grants and other money that they have. And so they make those dollars stretch unbelievably far.
Yeah, and maybe you pick a nonprofit that you've never heard of or something that it has a personal connection to you. You go on the website and they're all listed right there.
Yes. And we have a new feature on there this year. It's live stats.
Okay.
So you click on that, and I mean, it's a full page of donors running through. It's the leaderboards. It's the ticker. It's a page that's full of data that's really fun to watch.
Yeah, well, we'll keep up with it past 6
Please
o'clock
do.
today.
Indeed. All right, Scott, enjoy these last few hours of relative calm, and then at 6 o'clock, you and Mercedes and the crew there at Nonprofit Council, all the best to you. And Pepper the mascot, who could not be with us this morning. But 6 million is the number to beat, so I have a good feeling about it, Scott, and we'll check in. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott. We'll check in with you later. Looking out there with a live cam, warming up a little bit, but not too bad of a morning. We'll take those easy mornings, Justin.
Well, I agree. I mean, the mornings have been really pretty nice. We still don't have any, really cool mornings in the forecast, but as long as we're in the 60s and 70s, I don't think anyone's complaining. I want to take you back out to that TransGuide shot there at 410 and McCullough. They are doing fast work here of getting this cleaned up. They've got the car that flipped over already on a tow truck, I believe. So I think they're in the process of hopefully opening up some lanes here, but it is down to those two far right-hand lanes, and that is really causing some big-time backups here along 410 on the city's north side. In fact, at this point, we're seeing traffic backed up almost to I-10. So if you're traveling eastbound on 410, there between I-10 and 281, expect to have some major delays here around let's say over the next 30 minutes or so. All right, forecast for today, 83 at 11 a.m., 2 o'clock, 90, 93 at 4 p.m. That'll be our high temperature, and then we'll fall back down into the 80s by 8 o'clock, partly cloudy at that point. Hey, out in the Atlantic, we've got a new tropical depression, newly formed this morning, tropical depression number 7. Will this become Gabrielle, and where is it moving? We'll show you the latest track from the Hurricane Center coming up in just a couple minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. I think we're taking another look out there. Yes, okay, like Justin said, here's a problem area at Loop 410 at McCullough. This is eastbound. You can see those lanes are closed and really blocking off traffic, so if you can find another way, that would be good. As far as the TxDOT website, this seems to be the only problem there.
Yeah,
right
okay,
now.
Be careful out there.
Walk up and say, hey, we need to get back to bed, and the next thing I know, I'm being put in a wheelchair and taken down to the ED.
You don't know what happened between then?
No, I had blacked out.
Choked, bruised, and then sedated. San Antonio police say a nurse went from helping a patient to becoming one himself.
Now the nurse tells KSAT investigates Daniela Ibarra that the hospital and law enforcement are failing to keep healthcare workers like him safe.
As a nurse, James Roy is used to being inside patient rooms, just not like this.
James, what has the last year been like for you?
A lot of it has been a blur.
Including what happened at Northeast Baptist in July of last year. Roy says he was trying to help a patient in the intensive care unit.
I walk up and say, hey, we need to get back to bed. And the next thing I know, I'm being put in a wheelchair and taken down to the ED.
You don't know what happened between then?
No. No, I had blacked out, and that part of the memory never came back.
Another nurse who watched the attack helped San Antonio police fill in the blanks. She says Roy tried to stop the patient, who court records show is John Demetrius Hudson, from standing, following the hospital's policy. Hudson pushed Roy into glass doors, hitting the back of his head. Hudson then got on top of Roy, putting him in a headlock.
You don't expect a call like that.
Roy's wife, Christy, rushed to be with him.
His legs were a little bit bruised over here, his neck. I could see like 4 hands over here, like that he had.
She says his left pupil got blown out. The Roys say the attack led doctors to diagnosing Roy with a traumatic brain injury, which led to seizures.
Do you blame the patient for what happened?
A little bit, yeah.
Roy told police that day he wanted his accused attacker to face criminal charges. That was more than a year ago.
They've just been silent. They haven't returned my calls.
SAPD says they handed over the case to the district attorney's office shortly after the assault happened. The DA's office says the grand jury indicted Hudson last month on a felony charge. The Roys say they had no clue until we reached out 2 weeks ago. The DA's office says SAPD did not turn over the complete case until January, more than 6 months after the assault. As for the hospital, Roy says they should share some of the blame. Federal regulations say workplace-related hospitalizations should be reported to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, within 24 hours. There are no records that show OSHA received any report of the workplace assault. Baptist Health System refused to make anyone available for an interview or answer a question about why the assault was not reported to OSHA. In a statement, the hospital system said it requires staff to follow strict protocols from OSHA and several other national and state health agencies. Baptist Health says it offers employees several resources for their physical and mental health. Despite his health setbacks, Roy is back in the hospital working.
Why come back?
We all have responsibilities. We have bills to pay.
For KSAT Investigates, I'm Daniela Ibarra.
Well, the district attorney's office did not answer our question about why it took more than a year for Hudson's indictment.
The DA's office says it typically reaches out to victims when the case is set for trial.
So they claim that advocates reached out to the Roys. However, the Roys say they only heard back after KSAT Investigates started asking questions.
We'll be sure to stay on top of that. Of course, Danielle will do that, and we'll let you know if we hear anything else. Meanwhile, it is 9:41, 75 degrees outside. You are watching GMSA at 9.
Well, September is National Guide Dog Month, and after the break, we're going to hear from the CEO of Guide Dogs of South Texas to tell us more about the importance of guide dogs and resources for those in need. Well, welcome back. It's 9:45. And September is National Guide Dog Month and National Service Dog Month. And not only are these services that these dogs provide are important, but they also are part of changing people's lives in a good way.
Yes, so earlier this morning during our GMSA Plus stream, we were joined by the CEO of Guide Dogs of South Texas, Patrick Glines, and he told us about resources available that some of you may not know about. We were showing a little while ago the eligibility for people who might be needing a service or a guide dog, and some of the expense, which leads us into the big give that starts later on today. There is some of that. So you have to be at least 16 years old and then be a Texas resident and legally blind. But the upkeep, this obviously costs money.
For sure. So it's the training of the dog and the provision of the dog is very expensive, which is why we do things like the big give and lots of fundraising campaigns, relying on the general public to support us. And then when the client gets the dog, they're $1,000 to $1,500 a year to keep and maintain food, toys, vet care, and that kind of thing.
Sure.
I can imagine it's very helpful for your clients, but give us an example about some of the feedback. How thankful are they for like little dogs like Sadie?
It's life-changing. People say it's not getting a guide dog, it's changing your lifestyle. It's the guide dog lifestyle. People talk about when they have a cane, they feel like they're parting the Red Sea, right? Where the dog can increase those social interactions.
Right.
They have a reason to get up, something to care for, a reason to get out and get exercise. They have a partner. So there's a lot of different things that the dogs provide over and above just the basic mobility of helping you navigate the environment and keeping you safe out there.
And of course, if you'd like to help guide dogs of South Texas, they're also participating in the Big Give this evening.
Indeed. So it starts at 6 o'clock. So help out if you can.
Absolutely.
Yes. Great organization.
Indeed.
I believe we, at GMSA, many years ago, we kind of like raised a guide dog. It was very fun.
Yeah, that was cool. A cool process.
Gino?
Yeah, Gino.
Yeah, anyway. Good stuff. Hey, out in the Atlantic, guys, we got some activity that's starting to flare up. And we have a new tropical depression that was named as of this morning, number 7. Winds are at 35 miles per hour, so this is still a weak system. And honestly, it doesn't look as great as it did earlier today. It looks like it's getting sheared a little bit. Either way, there still likely is going to be some further development here. It's moving west at about 13, but it starts to take a turn here soon and move out to the north and west. And here's why. We've got our Bermuda high, which is usually stationed out here in the Atlantic. And the flow around that should take this and direct it around that high, which would keep it away from the United States. We do think it'll become a Category 1 hurricane, though, by Sunday. So it does strengthen some. I just don't know that it will have a whole lot of impact on land masses, and that's certainly not a bad thing. There's also a wave behind this one that has about a 20% chance of development, according to the National Hurricane Center. So we'll also be watching that for you. Outside, blue skies. There are a few clouds there in the distance, but all in all, a pretty nice day is underway here. 75 degrees now at the airport, 75 in New Braunfels, 77 Converse, 73 Boerne, 78 at Stinson. Not a lot of wind out there, and humidity levels aren't bad, or at least not that bad. And I don't think we're going to have much of a heat index later today, but high temperatures will make their way into the low 90s, if not mid 90s in some cases. Divine, 93 for you, 93 in Poteet, 91 Boerne, 91 Comfort, 89 for high in Lakey today. And daytime highs will continue to run above average through the weekend. So we think that we'll be at 93, 94, one of those two through Sunday. The average for this time of year is 90. So we are running 3 to 4 degrees above average. If it feels warm in the afternoon, you'd be correct. And we may get some relief from that heat finally by early next week as finally the pattern begins to change a little bit. Satellite picture here over the plain shows we got a little spin right here with some showers and storms this morning, stretching from Kansas up into the Dakotas. Still some rain for the East Coast and Florida, but Texas remains really pretty dry. So let's look at the forecast here long term. And I don't think anything really happens until we get into Saturday. So we're going to go on and fast forward right to Saturday, 5 o'clock. And by this point, our heat high will have shoved far enough west to where it kind of opens up the door. So we'll see some disturbances rolling around this thing. In fact, there was a tropical system in the Pacific, Mario. Some of that energy actually may rotate up and around this high. Doesn't mean we're going to get good rain chances. Just a bit of that energy is moving in. But I think some isolated stuff, Saturday, Sunday, is certainly possible. And the computer models show that. But it's Monday where things really start to turn because we get energy that comes in from the north. And there's a question as to whether or not a little area of low pressure can develop and if it will cut off from the jet stream. There have been some computer models that have hinted at that. If it does, could bring us some decent rain chances, could also bring us some prolonged rain chances. But I think this is still very much a question as to how this will play out. We've got to wait for a few more computer model runs to talk with any great confidence about how this will play out. But I would say that early next week, we are going to bring rain chances up to account for that. So 93 Thursday, 93 Friday. We talked about the weekend, small rain chances there. And then next week, a little more, the rain chances come up some, a little more hope as temperatures hopefully too come down into the upper 80s by Tuesday.
That would be wonderful.
It would be really nice.
Epic, among other things. Thank you very much, Justin Horn.
You got
okay,
it.
on to SA Live, just a few minutes away from their Wednesday program. And let's see, who are we talking to today? It's Fiona!
Hi, yes, hey there, guys. Okay, you know how yesterday we were talking about guacamole? Yes. Well, today, because we're going to be talking about some of the best bacon in town, we are talking about bacon. And so we want to know, what's your favorite thing to eat with bacon? Don't think, just say.
Poppers.
Jalapeno poppers, a burger.
Well, it's funny you brought up guacamole, avocado, like a bacon avocado.
Ooh, that sounds good.
On the sandwich. Yeah.
There you go, combining it. I love
Yes.
that. Okay.
Is there a wrong answer, Fiona?
I don't think so. I don't think there's ever a wrong answer with both
Okay.
yesterday with guacamole or today with bacon. And I think that, Justin, you nailed it. Put them together.
Yes.
Good idea.
Dip the bacon in the guac and you're good to go. All right.
like
Thanks,
that.
guys.
Sure.
All right. So we want you to both go ahead and scan that QR code. We'd love to see your answers a little later in the show. Well, speaking of that bacon, a South Texas smokehouse is in the running for the best bacon in Texas. We find out what makes theirs so sizzling good and how you can help them win. And get ready for a night of magic, comedy, and drama. Yes, Harry Maurer, the magician, is at the Magic Saloon this weekend. What is happening over there? Oh, no way. Oh, yes, look at that. That is just a peek at what they can see this weekend, right, Harry?
That's right.
Okay, all right. And one San Antonio nonprofit is giving kids the ride of their lives and memories to last forever. Our Jen Tobias-Stresky shares that story in the KSAT Community Spotlight. And social media becomes a real-life horror story in the brand new mystery thriller American Sweatshop. We chat with the stars at the red carpet premiere. And it's the police versus firefighters in a match you don't want to miss, where you can see our local hero, first responders face off in the ring, and how it's all for a good cause. All that and more when SA Live continues in just a few.
The film industry is remembering movie icon Robert Redford, who passed away on Tuesday at his home in Utah. Redford's longtime friend and co-star Jane Fonda in a statement said he, quote, was a beautiful person in every way. He stood for an America we have to keep fighting for. Meryl Streep, who starred alongside Redford in 1985's Out of Africa, said, one of the lions has passed. Rest in peace, my lovely friend. And The Way We Were co-star Barbra Streisand in a statement said, Bob was charismatic, intelligent, intense, and always interesting, and one of the finest actors ever. Redford's extensive film credits include All the President's Men, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Natural, and The Sting. He won the Best Director Oscar for 1980's Ordinary People and founded the Sundance Film Festival to highlight independent cinema. Redford was 89 years old.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
The box office hit Superman, which raked in over $600 million earlier this summer, is now set to stream on HBO Max this Friday.
This is a reset. A different company. A different culture.
Season 4 of The Morning Show premieres today on Apple TV+. Star Mark Duplass says the series delves into a controversial new technology this season.
We're experiencing an incredible amount of anxiety about what's real and what's not with the advent of AI into the news world.
Rapper Cardi B has announced she's going on tour early next year. It's called the Little Miss Drama Tour. It's set to kick off in February, running through April. And you may know him as Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights. Happy birthday to Kyle Chandler, who turned 60 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Alex Stone, ABC News.
All right, well, now let's look at the forecast. So we are dealing with more warmth today, 93 and partly cloudy. That will be the case, really, going into the weekend, too. Just small rain chances. Keep your weekend plans. But do anticipate some rain next week. It's looking a little more promising for Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, we can power through the warmth because we see the light or the rain at the end of the tunnel.
Well, we've done it for like 4 or 5 months now, so what's another month?
Yeah, why not?
We got it.
Why not? But the pollen still remains.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll power
very
through
good.
that as well.
Yes, and we're going to power on to SA Live right now at the top of the hour. Have a great day.
Celebrating San Antonio with the city's #1 lifestyle and variety show. This is SA Live.
Well, crispy, sizzling, and oh so irresistible. You could be looking at the best bacon in Texas. Find out how it's up for this incredible honor and where you can try it for yourself. Now, yesterday we talked about guacamole, and today we're talking about bacon. I mean, these are both things that go great with anything. So we want to know, what's your favorite thing to eat with bacon? Scan that QR code and weigh in. I think Justin kind of nailed it when he said go ahead and combine the guacamole and the bacon. Yes. 100%. All right, we may see your answer in the show in a little bit, so scan that QR code and weigh in. Well, switching gears, what happens when Ferraris meet families battling illness? One San Antonio nonprofit